It's time to take a look at what's happening around Wyoming for Thursday, February 12th. I'm Mac Watson. Representative Mike Yin claimed on Wednesday that Teton County GOP leader Rebecca Bextel distributed checks on the floor of the state legislature. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland reports that Yin's accusation prompted outrage and a formal protest.
Representative Mike Yin was saying, hey, I don't want to make any accusations specifically, but a person from Teton County that is championing bills was distributing checks on a legislative chamber floor during this session, and we should not vote on bills that she supports because of the implications. Representative John Baer challenged him on a point of order, and then later, House Representative Rachel Rodriguez-Williams, she made an official complaint against him that went to the record. Bextel texted me, I haven't written any campaign checks this year. I asked if she had distributed any checks at all or anything else and what those things were. She said, none of your business. However, she's taken to Facebook to say that she was distributing checks, but then there was nothing illegal about it.
Bextel didn't respond to a later inquiry about whether she requested Baer or the House to run House Bill 141. Wyoming lawmakers advanced a bill on Wednesday to allow hand-counted recounts. Cowboy State Daily's David Madison reports that this is despite county clerks' warning that it wouldn't work under tight deadlines.
This legislative session, there have been a lot of election reform bills. Some have been voted down, some have advanced, like a bill today that would spell out a requirement for hand counting ballots in certain situations when a recount is desired. The Secretary of State, Chuck Gray, argued that right now, all a recount does is it reruns the ballots through the machine, and he's not satisfied by that standard. And the bill that he's backing would say, no, county clerks, you've got to hand count these. Well, the county clerks are saying, hold on a second, this is going to take a lot of time. I think the clerks are okay with doing that. They just want a realistic structure to the mandate that would come down. They want to be able to execute whatever's required by law, and according to them, this House bill sets them up for failure.
Secretary of State Chuck Gray told the committee he was in complete support of the bill, calling it, quote, probably one of the most vetted election bills in this session, unquote. A lawyer for Cody Roberts wants to bar testimony about him allegedly running a wolf down with a snowmobile or taping its mouth shut. Cowboy State Daily's Greg Johnson reports that attorney Robert Piper wrote that these were prior acts in his motion filed Monday in Sublette County District Court.
His defense lawyer made another motion this week, this time to exclude testimony that relates to him running down the wolf with a snowmobile or taping its mouth shut. He claims those are prior acts compared to what the prosecution is going after him for, and therefore they should not hear testimony about that. It's kind of an interesting motion because those details, those alleged details, are what pretty much launched his case to international status as far as people noticing and following his prosecution. His trial is still scheduled to start March 9th. It's less than a month away. It'll be interesting to see what the response to this latest motion is from the prosecutors.
After reportedly running down the wolf with a snowmobile, a practice called wolf whacking, Roberts was initially cited by Wyoming wildlife officials for possessing a wild animal. The Pro Rodeo Cowboy Association's proposed new 35-acre location in Cheyenne was revealed during a legislative reception on Tuesday. Cowboy State Daily's Renee Jean reports that PRCA CEO Tom Glaus spoke publicly for the first time about his vision for the PRCA in Wyoming.
Glaus was there and actually came to the podium and talked about that he sees this as integral to the PRCA's vision. He's really excited about moving to Cheyenne. He also talked about his time in Wyoming, and I guess I didn't realize just how extensive it was. I knew that he had been here for some time and had been like the insurance commissioner, but he moved to Wyoming as soon as he graduated from high school, and he got a college scholarship to go to Casper College in Rodeo, and then transferred to University of Wyoming. So this guy really has spent a lot of time in Wyoming and knows Wyoming very well. He knows Rodeo very well.
The site is just north of the Horse Palace Swan Ranch and just south of the Little America Hotel and Resort. The PRCA's 35-acre section is one of 13 lots shown in the overall development, suggesting an overall vision that is larger than just creating a new campus for the PRCA and its headquarters and its associated Hall of Fame and museum. I'll be back with more news from Cowboy State Daily right after this.
Out here, everything takes longer. The miles in between teach patience. They teach you what's worth driving for. In Wyoming, miles are how we measure love. The distance you'll go to help a neighbor, to pick up your kid from an activity, or to visit someone you care about. That's why Hilltop Bank rides with you through every mile. We're not just close by, we're traveling the same roads. Hilltop Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Cowboy State Daily News continues now. When Elon Musk called out Wyoming lawmakers on social media for voting against an anti-child grooming bill this week, he may not have known the penalties House Bill 9 were harsher than a sentence for second-degree murder. Cowboy State Daily's Claire McFarland reports that the bill is being amended.
One of the people who voted against introducing the bill, Representative Landon Brown, was like, hey, it's nothing against this concept. It's got some really gray areas, some sloppy writing about where the age limitations are. And it's got these weird penalties that take judicial discretion away from judges by setting super steep minimums, like we saw with one of the provisions had a 25-year minimum. Whereas Wyoming's second-degree murder charge has a 20-year minimum.
Laramie County District Attorney Sylvia Hackle, testifying on behalf of the Wyoming County and Prosecuting Attorneys Association, tells Cowboy State Daily that the bill would plug a gap in the law. An Evanston man was charged with a felony on Tuesday, accused of driving his truck into a woman trying to save a parking space at a Costco in Salt Lake. Cowboy State Daily's Greg Johnson reports that the man claims she fell after he revved his engine, but witnesses and videos say he accelerated into the woman.
He's accused of basically running down a woman who was standing in an empty space in a Costco parking lot in Salt Lake City. She was saving the space. You know, people do that. She's saving the space. He wanted the space, started pulling in. She blocked him and said, no, you can't park here. And according to the arrest affidavit in his case file, he then accelerated, hit her. She was thrown back and her head hit another car. He claims that he never accelerated into her. He said that his story was that she put her hands on his hood and that when he revved his engine, she fell backward. However, surveillance video from the Costco store, two other witnesses corroborated the first story about him.
67-year-old Frank Meislewick of Evanston was charged with the third-degree felony in the 3rd District Court of Salt Lake City on Tuesday, more than a month after the January 4th incident at the Costco store in Salt Lake City. The victim did survive the assault, but no word on the extent of her injuries. Wyoming lawmakers on Wednesday advanced a bill to let voters recall mayors and other local officials, as there is no mechanism in place right now. Cowboy State Daily's David Madison reports that supporters cite accountability, while critics are worried about politicized recalls.
In Wyoming, there is currently not a mechanism for an official recall of a city council person, town council person, or mayor. The legislature worked on a draft of a bill that advanced, and it provides that mechanism. So they're working out the details. It had strong support, and I guess it's good news for communities out in Wyoming where there's been a history of frustration, and now there could be some relief.
The bill would require petitions signed by registered voters and a general statement of grounds for removal. Jalen Koff of Alta, Wyoming earned her second career Olympic silver in moguls on Wednesday as she and teammate Liz Lemley made history. Cowboy State Daily's Kate Meadows reports the two Olympians are the first U.S. 1 and 2 finish in women's freestyle skiing at the Milan Cortina Winter Games.
Jalen Koff is from Alta, Wyoming, and her teammate Lemley is from Vail, Colorado. What's remarkable about their wins on Wednesday is that they each got a gold and a silver. So Koff got the silver and Lemley got the gold. And that is the first time in Olympic history that a U.S. team has snagged both gold and silver in the women's moguls. Jalen Koff is the daughter of Scott Call and Patty Sherman Koff, and both of her parents are professional mogul champions from the 1980s and 1990s.
Koff has been called the fastest woman on the moguls circuit. She clocked the fastest time in Wednesday's women's moguls competition at 24.88 seconds during one of her runs. And that's today's news. Get your free digital subscription to Wyoming's only statewide newspaper by hitting that daily newsletter button at cowboystatedaily.com. And you can watch this newscast every day by clicking subscribe on our YouTube channel or listen to us on your favorite podcast app. Thanks for watching. I'm Mac Watson for Cowboy State Daily.